off with, one of the things we have to understand is that these people, right, in the Bible, they're described as lost sheep, those that have left the congregation. That could be, aside from disassociation, it could be because they're inactive. What we're talking about in particular is those that have been disassociated. But put yourself in that position for a moment. Put yourself in the position of somebody that's been gone perhaps 1 year, perhaps 20 years. They come back in different points in their lives. They've gone through different phases of their lives. They don't really know who's at the congregation anymore. Perhaps when they come in, they feel judged, they feel unwanted or uncomfortable. Or maybe they left on bad terms with those that were in the congregation. Whatever the case is, they left the congregation, they were disfellowshipped. So now the question is, why does the Bible call them lost sheep? And as the theme suggests, or as it states, the question that we're asking is, how can a congregation express joy when they're reinstated? So the first thing that we have to do is look to the Bible, of course. So we'll turn to Luke chapter 15, and it's in verse 4 through 7. Luke chapter 15, verses 4 through 7. What man among you, with 100 sheep, on losing one of them, will not leave the 99 behind the wilderness and go after the lost one until he finds it? And when he has found it, he puts it on his shoulders and rejoices. And when he gets home, he calls his friends and his neighbors together, saying to them, "Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep that was lost." And the important part here in verse 7, I tell you that in the same way, there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous ones who have no need of repentance. So those verses in that chapter, they set the tone for what we're trying to do. It tells us that we will rejoice over this, we'll be excited over this, and that in heaven there's rejoice over it, that Jehovah would be excited over this. Of course, we know that we're trying to imitate Jesus, so if he's happy about it, Jehovah's happy about it, then we'd be happy about it. But how do we show this joy? We have an article from the Watchtower in 2016 in May, and if you go down, I believe it's the third paragraph, it says, when someone is reinstated in the congregation, we have good reason to rejoice. The person will have to keep on maintaining his integrity to God, but he had to be repentant in order to be reinstated, and we are glad that he repented. Accordingly, there may well be spontaneous, dignified applause when the elders make an announcement of reinstatement. So for us, here in the congregation during the meeting, let's say an announcement was made right now in this meeting. The advice that they give us is that we can give dignified applause. We're not getting up and roaring and screaming and whistling. We're not that excited. This is still a dignified occasion that Jehovah set for us. But as individuals, we can clap, and it says it's spontaneous, implying that we're not doing this in uniform. It's not a responsibility. Remember that this is your family, your brother and your sister. That's the important thing. Additionally, you may know people or have heard of instances in which maybe the person was publicly reproved or reinstated, and afterwards, one thing that I personally heard is that perhaps they were leaving and you go up and you shake their hand, you congratulate them, you invite them to your house for a meal. You go and you hug your brother or your sister, and you tell them that you love them just the way Jehovah would. That's my time. Thank you.